Now that your house is chametz free, it's time to prepare the Seder plate. This is how we do it.
Today we're going to discuss the preparation for the Seder, things that have to be done before the Seder. And for this, let's go on location. The preparation for the Seder begins on the day before. There's a lot of preparation that needs to be done. Many of the components of the Seder need to be prepared in advance. So we'll go through some of that stuff now. We'll begin with the making of the charoset. We start with an apple, a pear. We take some nuts and some wine. There are some that also use cinnamon and ginger. They mix cinnamon and ginger into that, but some communities do have the custom not to use that because there might be some question of chametz in certain places and so on. So we don't use that. However, apple, pear, nuts, and wine.
Can we use any other type of fruit?
Yes, and actually the Sephardic custom is to use dates and figs and other fruits like that as well.
Okay. So you're going to show us how to make charoset then?
I will make charoset. It's customary to peel apples and pears fruit on Passover because the skin may have come into contact with chametz. And often they also spray it with different chemicals or other products. After we finish with the peeling, we grate the apple and the pear into a paste. This reminds us of the mortar that the Jews had to make and use to build when they were enslaved in Egypt.
Can you buy charoset?
Yeah, there are many synagogues or otherwise that you can buy charoset if you don't want to make it yourself. We add some nuts to the mixture, ground nuts. Add a little wine.
Can you use grape juice instead of wine?
One can. Yes, you can. And there is your charoset. Another one of the components on the Seder plate is the maror, the bitter herbs. Some people use horseradish. Now, the horseradish that you use for the Seder plate cannot be from the jar. Even the white horseradish from the jar, because they put vinegar in it. Once they put vinegar, if it steeps for 24 hours in the vinegar, it's considered to be cooked halachically, and therefore it cannot be used for maror. So if you're going to use horseradish, it has to be made from scratch. We begin again by peeling the horseradish.
Is it easy to find and buy horseradish?
Around Passover time in Jewish neighborhoods in the supermarkets or fruit stores, you can find horseradish. They all carry it because they know that the Jewish clientele needs it for Passover. Not so easy to find otherwise. As a warning, anyone that doesn't need to be in the room at the grating of the horseradish should leave because it's a very, very sharp smell and most people end up crying their eyes out.
Okay, well, I'll be backing up now.
Please do.
Besides the horseradish, do you need to add anything to it, like salt or oil?
No, we add nothing to the horseradish, just pure horseradish. During the Seder, as we'll discuss later, we eat a kazayas, about an ounce worth of maror, bitter herbs, but it doesn't have to be pure horseradish. That would be very difficult for anyone to eat. So we mix lettuce, romaine lettuce, and horseradish. There's your grated horseradish. Also used for the bitter herbs, maror, is romaine lettuce. So we prepare the romaine lettuce in advance. We need to wash them very well because many of them have bugs. There are little tiny bugs, green bugs, which are very difficult to see. So first we wash them very thoroughly.
Well, this cleaning that you're doing, like the washing, you would do that all year round or only for Passover?
Actually, for green lettuce, you need to do it all year round as well. And then we check to make sure that there are no bugs left on the leaf. Put it up to the light. clean bill of health. One of the components on the Seder plate is the Shank Bone, the zroa, which many people, our custom, the Chabad custom, is to use a chicken neck, which we roast over a fire. Now, most people don't have a kosher for Passover barbecue, but if you do, you can do it on the barbecue. Otherwise, you can grill it on the stovetop burner. This represents the Passover offering that was eaten in the time of the temple, which had to be roasted. It couldn't be cooked or steamed. It had to be roast. So we roast our chicken neck, and we will have that on the Seder plate, which we'll explain a little later.
Okay, and can you substitute anything for the chicken neck?
There are different customs. Some use a thigh bone, a thigh of a chicken, or some people even use the lamb, a part of a lamb, to remind us of this Passover offering, which was actually brought from a lamb or a goat.
What will you be doing with the salt?
Another thing that we prepare in advance of the Seder is the salt water. We make a very strong mixture of salt water, lots of salt, and we add water. Voila! I once got a tip from Julia Child about how to make salt water. Now that we have all the components for the Seder plate, join us next week as we learn how to assemble the Seder plate.